Hey guys, so this is the next episode, and yeah, we encountered a bunch of problems last episode, and we have made some progress on them in the meanwhile. So let me first uh, see what all the local changes I've done. So I think we have modified this file. So this file we can review right here. So what we are doing is we are bringing back this. Mm, yeah, so earlier we had hard coded this ID because the auth system was not working. So I figured out the problem. It was a very minor problem. I'll take you through that. But that's one change I've done, and also obviously normalize the response time so that both logged in and logged out guys get the same data. Ideally, if you're not logged in, this request should not come to us at all. Why bother with the whole call? Uh, yeah, anyways. And the other change is inside this. So this is a bigger change. So let's go through each change one by one. So earlier, so basically earlier we were relying on a bunch of ftd.string fields for form handling. So that's what we do if you have a real field. Like for example, even this is not necessarily needed, but here in this project we have this a text input, right? So if you see there's a form field and obviously a checkbox, and you have the post, right? So this is the, if I show you the UI for that, so this is my updates app, and this form that you're seeing, this is the source code of that form, right? So this compose form is this, right? So here we have actually um, a real input and a real two real inputs and a button. So this kind of works well for this form field pattern. So, but we are not going to go there yet. We will discuss it later on. But in this case, we do not have a real input, right? So this is the form that we are working with. And here you see there is no real form. This is just a button, and the button actually takes the action. And basically, the the main thing is that we are going to use submit form, ftd dot submit form. So we earlier used this concept url and status without decoration because we had the name. So basically, when we're sending some data to backend, we have to send, how do I say, the name of the field and the value of that field, right? So otherwise, how would the server know which one is the concept URL and which is the status URL? So we have to send the name and value. So one way to send name and value is this, right? Like the way we have done in this, where we create these fields. Because the purpose of this field is to, this is the name, right? So the purpose of this field in this case, for example, this is the name and this is the value, right? And actually, this string field also comes with a what is called error message, right? So you can actually show the error message, and it's already somewhere, uh, right? So if you look at this form field, it internally has the logic of showing the error message, etc. But in this case, we are not really expecting an error message, right? I mean, technically it can happen, and when we are looking at that, we will solve it. But here it's a simple scenario, so we don't have to bother with those. So for that, we did not have good support, and we have implemented that in this. I think this PR. No, where is that PR? Somewhere, yeah. So we have implemented that over here, right? If you're really interested in. So earlier we used to not support tuples, and we only supported this. So earlier we only supported this guy. So basically, the object used to have internally the name and the value, but now you can get an object, or so for example, in this case over here, you are calling submit form with this title, and the type of this title, as you see, it's a string field, which is basically an object which contains multiple name and value and other stuff. So we are now also supporting, what do you call it? If you see the code, we are also supporting tuples, right? So we can send name and value here, and this simplifies the code significantly, as you see. And yeah, so on the click, we are sending these two things. So yeah, so a bunch of stuff has become easier. Now let's go and so we can verify things are working fine. Let's run this command, and right, so if I go back to this guy, as you can see, if I click on this button, it's reloading the page, right? So if you look at the action handler, this is the action handler, which simply right now is not doing anything other than a print and a reload. So it reloads the page and does nothing really interesting. So we are going to do something interesting now. So what we have to do is you have to do sort of like an upsert call, right? So we have to do an upsert call. So how do we do an upsert call? Before we go there, let's also look at the auth. So earlier the auth was not working. Now the auth is indeed working. So as you see, you can see the currently logged in username is AST, email address, email is not verified, and stuff. Obviously, you can click on this link, which will send a verification email, and you can verify it. But just to prove that everything is working correctly, I logged out, and obviously looks like underlying thing is issue. But I go back to this guy and click on login, and I do ASD my username, and I sign in. So as you see, things are kind of auth is working now. One minor UI improvement, I think. This row, where is this row? Where we are showing the table of content. Where is the table of content? Here, show TOC. Where is the show TOC? Show TOC. This is the column which contains, so we should align top left. No. Anyways, I'm not getting why is there so much gap. Anyways, we'll look at the UI polish a little bit later on. So I have a meeting after this 8:30, so we have a sweet 10-minute slot to finish implementing this guy. So let's look at that. Update content status. So yeah, and just to make sure that things are working correctly, we can look at the user ID. Right. So in the print statement, we are printing the user ID. So if I do the, if I reload this page, as you see, this current user colon, if I search for that, so current user colon 1 is coming. But if I do this, and you will see that current user, have I not restarted it? I did restart it. Let's see. And what happens now? We get the current user as, what is the logic? Oh, it should not be printed. That's why you are not getting it. So this time we should see this message saying no user data found. Yeah. But the same request from the browser. If I, anyways, so it is indeed working. So what do we have to do next? We have to get this guy to work. So I will get put the same logic over here also. So this should kind of like never happen. So maybe we should create another type which where this is a required field. So, but for now, I will put this logic, copy paste that, and we will return. What do we return? Form colon colon, and then what can we return? This is a form. Yeah, if you make a, where do I? Yeah, let's do reload. The logic of why this reload is a good idea. Why is this failing? Oh, because I've consumed it. So I should not do this. I should do user ID, and I should not do this at all. And I should say user ID. So even in the case of this is not needed. Whew. No user data found. This should never have happened. Anyways, because the user is not logged in, why are we getting the request? So the only possibility is that you have this page open in multiple, how do I say, browsers, and this is a stale state. And if you are not logged in, these buttons should not be ideally visible to you at all, or rather they should be some hidden by some sort of, you're not logged in to click on that button. So anyways, so we have to do the actual logic, right? So function upsert UC, and it needs user ID, concept URL, status, connection, perfect. And we are not going to do this, no, and status. So status, we should get the status, concept status, right? So it should get the concept status only actually here. Concept status, let's call it CS as concept status. In fact, let's take the ownership only. Yeah, I'll write this slowly. We should create a check. So obviously before we do anything, we should do the check. So I'll show you the pattern. Create post. So I like this kind of pattern that I'm working towards. So I'll just put it over here. While we are not actually expecting any user-facing error message, it is still a good idea to always have form handling. So here we have content URL, and what are we trying to do? We are basically saying, what is the check here? As of now, let's say the only check we have is on the status. And we are basically saying, let's say we keep this branch, and if you say not in, yeah, so because these are the only three things allowed, we will say status and say unknown status. Only new, seen, or done allowed, right? So, and check, we have to call the check. So we should just call the check like this at the beginning of the form, and the data is this. We don't need this mutable in general. So this is good. So we have some error handling. Even though we have error handling here, there is no corresponding error handling in the front end because user cannot make that error. So this error means there is a developer error. So it's good enough for us to just show the error and continue. So we can create a function only method on this. We can create a method. We can say fn upsert. Self, user ID, whatever. Yeah, do it like this. Why not? So this is our function to kind of write. Let's get this called also. So we have to call data dot Absurd connection ID mutable. So this guy is not mutable, so I'll make it mutable. So far so good. Now we have to do the absurd. How do we do the absurd? So we have to, let's look at the create call here. Big fan of, how do I say, we want to do this, and let's fix these stuff. So this has to be our table, which is called this guy, and perfect. So we are doing an absurd over here, and what all are we absurding? So user ID is user ID. I don't necessarily need this. Yeah. Now what else we want to put? We want to put the status and scene concept URL. Self.concept URL. You can even do this. Kind of doesn't really matter. What's wrong here? Found. Oh, we have to put an OK. Perfect. Yeah. So, and then we have to again put the status here. And this becomes the status. We have already pre-verified, created that, updated our good. We want these guys to be there. We don't have to do a now, and because this backend contains now, so we'll just pass the now also. We'll call it maybe me now. So this is the type of that guy is this guy. What is this complaining about? Some still message. So this guy takes one more parameter, which is basically now, and we will pass now to these two guys. And we don't need these, we'll see. Status, it is self.status. We don't have to do this, it is just a status. So we don't need UID. Okay, where are we? Let's see if it is compiling. I have to do that call. So this is compiling, and but we have to put on. So on conflict. Let's ask the ChatGPT fellow add an on conflict. Actually, I'll do the on conflict absurd business later on, right? Because I'm run out of time, so I'll just commit this and see you later. Net status. Then let's just quickly do verification because currently we can test it. And just to verify, DB select star from this big name table. And right now this table, oh, okay, it's already has these. When did I insert these? Oh, I manually inserted them. So I think I'll have to do the absurd only to check this. Okay, I'll do it in the next session. So bye.